Welcome to our latest Rising Coaches podcast series, Everyone Needs a Coach. I'm your host, Matt Gordon. We'll be talking about the need for mentors and consulting in the basketball community, as players are not the only one in our profession that need coaching. The people that coach and support our players need coaching to help them maximize their own abilities. Today, we are joined by Joe Prunty, a 23-year NBA coaching veteran who was a part of three NBA championships with the San Antonio Spurs, was the Great Britain national team head coach for 4 years, and was the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks during the 2017 season, and has been an assistant for 7 different NBA teams. Coach, thank you for joining us today, and let's get right into it with our first question.
Things extremely valuable. I think a lot of times as we get older, we think about the people that have impacted our lives. And most times we think of teachers, obviously family members and parents, but when we think of people outside of our family, we think of teachers and we think of coaches. And in a lot of ways, those are the same. As a coach, we are teachers. We are teaching the game. We are teaching behaviors and how to handle situations. And so as a coach, you're trying to impact not only somebody's ability to play the game, but also their ability to handle situations and essentially impact their lives.
Awesome. How can consulting help teams in adverse times like we are facing right now during this pandemic?
I think one of the biggest things, it's not necessarily just during the pandemic, but it's that you can, as a consultant, you can provide an outside viewpoint, something that may not have been thought of already within the group, within the team, within the organization, or even for an individual. I don't want to necessarily say it's outside the box thinking, but it's something that certainly can be applied, a thought that could be applied when somebody hasn't come up with this particular idea within the framework because the team that they have doesn't have somebody who's gone through that experience or didn't have that thought. And the value of having multiple perspectives is always great.
Correct. Usually the answer is right next to us or right there in front of us, but you can't see it, probably because sometimes it's so close. So having an outside perspective can enable you to see what's right in front of you, because that's usually where the answer lies. And that gets us to our next question you kind of answered, but how can coaches, mentors change the way people think?
Well, to your point, that's very true. It sort of answered it, that you can help them change the way they think because you just give them a different perspective, or you enlighten them with an experience that you've had that may be similar but not quite the same, because all experiences help, but they're not all quite the same. So the opportunity to present something and help people grab something, as you just said, that's right in front of them is invaluable, because it can save time, it can save money. In business, in basketball, we know that time is money, and we know that being able to maximize your time to help you get a win, to help you make a play, is of paramount importance, because being able to do that could be the difference in having a successful or a season that's deemed unsuccessful.
Little details, the smallest things, or even just a big thing, an outside perspective be, or just helping somebody solve the problem themselves almost by just listening, can help the way that you think. Which ties me into the next question. Do you have any mentors? Have you had any mentors in your development as a coach? Or if you had not, how could a mentor have helped you in your journey?
I have had mentors, or at least people that I've gone to for advice or guidance. I think one of the things that you just mentioned is really important, is when you go and talk to people about a situation, whether it's your job, whether it's a play, whether it's a game, or having them help you analyze something, you're not always going to them to say, hey, give me the answer. A lot of times what I've learned is that you're going to have them help you find the answer, because what they tell you, even if that one person, so I've had a few that I've gone to through the years, they may give me different answers. Let's say I go consult with two different people and they give me two different answers. Well, I have to figure out what answer is best for me, which one makes the most sense for my situation, for my team, regardless of what the reason I went to them was for. So the two people that I would go to give me different answers. Now I find what I think is best. They've been invaluable for me in my specific situations, but I don't know if people have those consultants or mentors all the time right now. It's a very tough business, and having the opportunity to confide in someone that you know is looking out for your best interest and trying to help you is always invaluable.
Awesome. So not only can a mentor help you, decide something, but by listening, you kind of just reaffirm maybe what your problem was, and can help you either with the solution, or um, can make the solution uh, solid for you. Like, it just reaffirms what you've already thought. Correct?
Absolutely. That's 100% true. And that it doesn't always have to be something that you haven't thought of. It certainly can just be affirmation or reaffirming that you have the right idea and are on the right course. And as we know, things are always evolving. So what might be right for one day, now you get past that problem and you move to the next one. Well, now there's a new way to approach it or a new thing to think about. So it's a constant growth process. It isn't one size just fits all.
Awesome. Last question for you. Um, Basketball, as we know, if you're in the business, is a business of relationships, networking. How can a mentor or a new person, we all have our coaching tree, but how can somebody outside of your tree help you develop new networking and relationships, and grow your network? Because that's how obviously people move up. People uh, find different jobs or new jobs, or maintain their same job. So explain how mentors, consultants can help in the networking path in basketball.
In life, there's always degrees of separation from people. And the more you get to know people, and not only get to know them and become an acquaintance, but eventually become, uh, even to the degree of becoming friends, it certainly leads to now you sort of are in their circle of influence. And so again, to your point, as you go from knowing, let's say, 20 people, well, those 20 people, if they all know 20, so you can see the growth. When you add another person into that, that isn't necessarily, because of those 20, 10 of them might be in the same circle. So your growth isn't really that big. If you add someone that you don't know, now all of a sudden your circle of influence, or the people or your network, are going to grow almost exponentially. And you're tapping into their not only level of knowledge and expertise, but you're also potentially tapping into their history of who they've known. And obviously, as we're getting to the network of who they are involved with. And what we know in all of basketball is it's a small community, it's a small family. That having been said, everybody used to say, well, the NBA is a small community. It is. But even if you look at all of basketball as a whole, from international coaching, NBA coaching, professional at all levels, collegiate coaching, collegiate on all levels, high school on all levels, and you're looking at player development programs, all of those, it is a very small community. And the more people that you can build into your network, the better off you'll be.
Yeah, and also with a mentor, you have a bigger network, but also somebody now new knows you. I think that's important in our business. Obviously, it's who you know, but it's more important who knows you, and can have a relationship with you, so they have the information to recommend you or to connect you with somebody else, and have a trust about that I think goes a long way in our business.
Certainly. And trust is a big word.
And loyalty gets thrown around a lot. So if more you know somebody and people, the loyalty forms and the trust forms. So it's easier for you to help people out that you're loyal to and trust.
Correct. No question.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Thanks for joining us today, Coach. Really appreciate it, and look forward to having you on again. Thank you.
My pleasure.